Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium at Medfield High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. Once again, this is Tim Coet on the call here in the 2018 MIAA Playoff Tournament. We begin coverage of the Milford boys basketball team as the number 5 seeded Scarlet Hawks travel here to the town of Medfield to take on the number 4 seeded Medfield Warriors. And very excited to be continuing our coverage on the road in this MIAA playoff tournament just 2 days ago. Excited to bring you live streaming coverage of the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks in their first round playoff matchup up in Worcester against Burncoat High School. It was an overwhelming victory for the girls that night. So now it is the boys' turn to take center stage. And for this Milford boys basketball team, they enter into playoff competition with an overall record of 12-9. They finished the season an even 8-8 within league play. And of course, it was quite a turnaround towards the end of the season for the Scarlet Hawks. Right there at the midseason, things did not look like they were going in the direction of a playoff berth for Milford with 4 straight losses from January 23rd to February 2nd, but it was a much different tune over the final stretch of the year from February 6th to February 21st. Milford absolutely took care of business. They had 6 games remaining on their schedule. They needed 4 wins to qualify for the playoffs, and they went on ahead and won all 6 games, victories against Canton, Foxborough, North Attleboro, and Sharon. And then they closed up the regular season with victories over Tantascwa and Dedham High School in the 3rd annual Scarlet Hawk Classic, winning that end of the season tournament for the 3rd straight year of its existence. And as a result, Milford was able to vastly improve their overall record and vastly improve their prospects for this MIAA playoff tournament. As a matter of fact, Milford had an opportunity to rise to as high as the number 3 seed in this Division II Central bracket. It ended up all coming down to a coin flip. It was a 3-way coin flip between Milford, Medfield, and also Grafton High School, and unfortunately Milford came out on the losing end. Milford had a 2 out of 3 shot at having a home playoff game to open up the playoffs, but instead they ended up starting out here on the road, so both teams coming into this matchup with an even 12-8 record, but Milford, by virtue of losing out on that coin flip, ended up being the road team for this matchup here tonight. But no need to focus on the negative, as there have been all sorts of positives for this team over the final stretch of the regular season. This team really finding themselves both offensively and defensively. This has been a real team effort for the turnaround. The offense has really been shared up and down the roster. This team has also gotten healthy in the final days of the season with the return of senior captain Shane Cosquette to the lineup. You can see Shane out there right now getting warmed up with the rest of his teammates. So this team is fully rested up, fully healthy, and all set and ready to go for these playoffs here tonight. And as we mentioned, they finished out the regular season with a flourish, winning that Scarlet Hawk Classic tournament. And ended up all coming down to a championship game against Dedham High School, a game that was very close with a lot of lead changes through the first half of the game, but Milford was able to use tremendous defense in the second half. They limited Dedham to just 9 total points in the second half of that game to turn a close contest into a 46-31 victory. So that sealed up the regular season for Milford, earning that Scarlet Hawk Classic championship and also that 12th win overall on the season. And that set them up with a date here tonight against the Medfield Warriors, the home team in their home gym here tonight. And for Medfield, they ended up finishing up in 2nd place in the Tri-Valley League standings. Medfield operating out of the nearby Tri-Valley League, a 12-8 record overall. They finished 8-6 within league play. They actually lost out on the Tri-Valley League Large School Division Championship by a single game. They ended up playing a winner-take-all game for the division title against Norton High School back on February 16th. It ended up being quite an exciting game, a game that came right down to the final seconds. Medfield had a 1-point lead. They had possession with less than 30 seconds to go, but they missed a key shot, and the Lancers were able to come down the other way to put one in the hoop right at the buzzer to earn a 48-47 victory. So it ended up being Norton that earned the Tri-Valley League Large School Division Championship. Medfield coming in 2nd place. Medfield had a pretty consistent season for the most part, including their best stretch of the year, which came right in the middle of their season for the entire month of January, winning out for that month 7 consecutive victories. But they did stumble a bit on the back stretch of their regular season. They had their longest losing streak of the year from February 9th to the 19th, losing 4 consecutive games before finally rebounding with a victory over Archbishop Williams in the final day of their regular season. So Medfield, with identical records at home and away overall on the season, 6-4 at home, 6-4 away from Medfield High School. And this is a team that was able to earn success throughout the regular season, largely thanks to their offense. This is a very potent offensive attack. They come in having averaged 61.9 points per game in the regular season. Defensively, however, the team did struggle, allowing an average of 57 points per game. Only 4 times on the season were they able to hold their opponent to under 50 points. So this is a defense that is prone to allowing points, and that's something that Milford will look to exploit out on the floor as this game goes on. Well, as you can see, things are starting to get rowdy here in Medfield. We're about to get pregame introductions, so the start of this MIAA playoff tournament game is imminent. It is your Milford Scarlet Hawks here in the town of Medfield, getting set to take on the Medfield Warriors. We will have the starting fives and the game's opening tip when we come back next. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford High School athletics right here on Milford TV.
What's so proudly hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the
A near-capacity crowd here at the Medfield High School Gymnasium as both of these fan bases are pumped up and ready to go to see quarterfinal playoff action. The Milford Scarlet Hawks, the number 5 seed, taking on the number 4 seeded Medfield Warriors. Quickly, we'll bring you the starting fives for tonight's game for the visiting Milford Scarlet Hawks. It is Shane Cosquette, Brendan White, Andrew Fraioli, Caden Kelly, and Zach Tamaro. And for the home team Medfield, it is Jake Dubbs, Stephen Williams, Mitchell Gosner, Michael Mary, and John Lowell. Tim Coed here with our Milford TV crew, happy to bring you coverage of this playoff action. And just like that, underway, and Milford controlling the opening tip. And the starting point guard, Shane Cosquette, once again out there as a starter, returning from injury just at the right time. And a quick feed down low to Caden Kelly, could not convert at the rim. And Medfield quickly soaks up the rebound. And the ball into the hands now of Stephen Williams. Williams kicking it to the corner, now driving underneath the basket. Caden Kelly with the rejection. Staying with the play is Gonser, but eventually the ball in the hands of the junior captain, Brendan White. Good defense from Milford on that opening possession for the Warriors. Hockomock League meeting Tri-Valley League here. And a lot of Milford fans making the trip as Brendan White releases the 3 and paces the offense here tonight for Milford as the Scarlet Hawks strike first. Now Medfield trying to get up the floor quickly in transition, but the ball deflected. Good heads-up defensive play for Milford as they were able to poke that ball out of play. It will stay with Medfield as they inbound just beyond the Milford bench. Many of these fans traveling earlier this week out to Worcester for the girls' game, now here tonight as Milford will draw the offensive foul. And you can see the Scarlet Hawks pumped up and ready to go here tonight. A lot of intensity, as usual, out of this Milford squad. As they forced the early Medway foul, it was called against Jake Dubbs. And now it's Cosquette surveying his options. Tomorrow gets it to White. White releases another 3, and Brendan White heating up early here in the first quarter. A couple of threes gives Milford an early 6-0 advantage. Medway now sending it back outside to Williams. The Milford crowd staying in it. And another turnover generated by Milford. Well, we mentioned it right in the pregame open. There was no separation in terms of wins and losses between these two teams. The only reason this game is being played here in the Medfield gym tonight is thanks to essentially drawing names out of a hat. Medfield getting the benefit of that system, but there's not a lot of talent difference certainly between these two teams, and Milford not looking at all phased, playing here on the road. Here's Tomorrow now. He'll try his luck from three, and Milford absolutely scorching hot from long range here in the early minutes of the first quarter, and that forces a very early timeout with still 5 minutes and 59 seconds to go here in quarter number one. Milford is engaged. The fans are certainly engaged as the Scarlet Hawks have raced out to an early 9-0 lead. So Milford, who came into these playoffs with all kinds of momentum, showing it here tonight, as the Milford cheerleaders have also traveled here on the road for this playoff game, bringing some extra entertainment to the crowd. So we mentioned the struggles of Medfield coming into the playoffs, losers of 4 out of their final 5 regular season games. Taking a look at that stretch, it started back on February the 9th with a 57-52 loss here at home versus Hopkinton, then a 70-65 loss at Medway, and then home losses against Norton and Rockland, a 48-47 loss to Norton. That cost Medfield their division. And then Rockland defeating Medfield 65-39. So as we mentioned in the pregame, this Medfield team gives up a lot of points, averaging 57 points allowed on the season. You can see some of those higher point totals there towards the end. As the Warriors now come out of the timeout, trying to find a boost. A quick release from 2-point range. And John Lowell able to get his team on the scoreboard, breaking up the early 9-0 run for the Scarlet Hawks. We'll see if Milford continues to work the perimeter. They've had so much success here on their early possessions, taking down to 5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. And this time it is Milford that's whistled for the infraction. They turn the basketball over. Medfield trying to weather the early storm. Milford putting some pressure on in the backcourt. Shane Cosquette harassing the ball carrier. And finally Medfield able to advance the ball back in the hands of Michael Mary. Now he passes off to Williams. Stephen Williams with Shane Cosquette close in proximity. Shot clock ticks down to 12 seconds on the possession. As Milford keeps Medfield out on the perimeter, now finally driving inside, and Jake Dubbs able to draw the contact. Milford head coach Paul Seaver grimacing at the call, as that foul will be called against Brendan White, and that's already 2 fouls here in the first quarter for White. So that is certainly a potential problem. And quickly we see Brendan Saylor discard the warm-ups, and it looks like he will replace White here early on. The last thing you want to see, especially after Brendan White was able to knock down 2 3-point shots very early on to get this offense going, but the Milford scoring leader will sit with a pair of fouls. And meanwhile, Jake Dubbs able to go 2 for 2 from the free throw line. And all of a sudden now Medfield able to answer back with 4 straight points. Brendan Saylor now with the ball in his hands, freshly onto the floor. And now Fraioli getting double teamed. A lot of contact, no whistle. Fraioli stays with the play, can't finish at the rim, but does get the foul on the back end. That one about a third of the way down and then rimmed out for Fraioli, but he'll have a chance to earn the points from the line. Andrew Fraioli, such a big reason this team was able to settle in late in the regular season. We chronicled it quite a bit in those final regular season games. Fraioli becoming a regular double-double performer. He, along with Caden Kelly, among the league leaders in that category through the regular season. And a couple of clean looks from the line for Fraioli. Pushes Milford into an 11-4 advantage. Medfield able to get the ball up the floor quickly, but Milford is now back in numbers. A quick release, a bit of an off-balance shot taken by Stephen Williams, no good, and Milford pulls down the rebound. Back into the hands of Brendan Saylor. He goes back and forth with Tomorrow. So Cosquette playing a little bit off the ball now with Saylor out there on the floor. Saylor playing some valuable minutes for Milford during the absence of Cosquet due to the injury. And here's Fraioli again down low. Tricky shot right on the end line, nearly made it. Some bad luck at the rim early for Fraioli. Keeps it an 11-4 score as we come down to 4 minutes to play in quarter number 1. Trying to find the shooter in the corner is Medfield. It was Michael Mary, no good. And the Milford fans, as always, let the opponent know. Cosquet wanting to release that shot from three-point range. Gets it back to Saylor. A little touch shot, one-handed from Saylor, effective. And Milford now with the lead up to 9. Shot no good on the other side for Gonser. And here's Milford now pushing the floor to Tomorrow. His shot a bit offline. Caden Kelly using that big reach to keep the ball in Milford's favor. The head coach, Herb Grace from Medfield, not happy to see Milford keep that possession alive. Here's Saylor inside. No good that time. Rebound by Gonser. Jake Dubs now against Saylor. He'll release the shot right over the junior. No good. Here's Fraioli. Quick rebound. Milford cleaning up the glass as usual here early on. Up 13-4. Fraioli trying to find fellow big man Caden Kelly, but that time Medfield able to see that pass coming. Come through with the turnover as we come down to 2 minutes and 32 seconds to play. A quick runner to the basket. Fraioli able to cut down the angle. Nice adjustment for Fraioli. Now hits back outside. Saylor will release the three. Not quite enough. Now Fraioli with the offensive board. Keeps it going. And they will wave off the shot. And it looks like Coach Seaver called the timeout just prior to that shot. And that stops the clock with 2 minutes and 17 seconds to go. And one programming note that we should give you again, we're so happy to be bringing you live streaming coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV, streaming live on milfordtv.net and also via the live stream app on our Milford TV educational feed. So if you are tuning into us live, we welcome you into the coverage. You might see a little bit late, a little bit light on camera angles here tonight, but we're so happy to have the setup here in the Medfield gym. The staff here at Medfield so gracious to have us here tonight. A little bit of an unconventional setup, but we were able to make it work as we always do here on the road, as we are committed to bring you the live streaming coverage of Milford athletics whenever possible, and certainly here in these biggest games in the playoffs. And also one more note that we want to bring you here early on, and it pertains to the girls basketball team as they will continue on in their playoffs tomorrow, a game that was originally scheduled to be played at 7 o'clock, but due to the impending weather tomorrow, that game has been moved up to a 4 p.m. start time. So if you're planning to head up to North Middlesex Regional High School to take in that quarterfinal game between the Milford girls and the Groton Dunstable girls, that is a 4 o'clock start time. We will remind you of that a few more times before the end of our coverage here tonight. But in the meantime, back to live action where Caden Kelly could not quite handle that pass from Andrew Fraioli. It goes out of play, and Medfield will take over with 2:05 to play in the first quarter. Quickly up the floor, Fraioli again making life difficult down low, but a nice rebound and putback for Mitchell Gonser. Medfield up to 6 points now. Fast-moving first period, under 2 minutes to play. Caden Kelly to Fraioli, back outside, a little bit of space for Zach Tomorrow. And he can't land the shot this time. Now here's Medfield trying to attack the rim. And John Lowell now up to 4 points in the period. And down to a 5-point Milford lead now as Medfield starts to get their feet under them after the hot Milford start. And now the Scarlet Hawks called for the turnover. And now the Medfield fans starting to get engaged. So after the 9-0 run for Milford to open the period, it's now been an 8-4 run in favor of Medfield. And we can make it a 10-4 run as Jake Dubs converts on that short-range jumper, and now under a minute to go, just a 3-point Milford lead. And suddenly the Scarlet Hawks fans are quiet, the Medfield fans feeling the boost. Milford working the perimeter. Tomorrow passes up the shot, Cosquet takes it. Tomorrow comes in, able to get the rebound. Nice backwards bounce pass to Fraioli. Andrew with his first field goal of the night, back up to a 5-point lead, and now immediately the release down the other end for Gonser, no good. And the shot clock turned off. Now a chance for Milford to play for the final shot of the period, up 15-10. There's Caden Kelly, shoots it quickly back outside to Tomorrow. 13 seconds to go now as Milford resets for one final play. Getting a lot of communication from Coach Seaver on the sidelines. Here's Tomorrow, he'll release it and gets the three, his second of the quarter. And 1 second left to go. Can Medfield get a shot away? They do, but it hits back iron, and Milford is able to up the lead back up to 8 points at the conclusion of the first quarter of play. So a very strong start to this one tonight for the Scarlet Hawks, taking an 18-10 lead here on the road against Medfield. We will pause here very briefly, and we'll have the start of the second quarter for you when we come back next here on coverage of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. Right back here inside the Medfield gym, quarter number 2 underway. Milford with an 18-10 advantage. Bounce pass nearly given away by Medfield, but they're able to just barely hold on to the possession, and it works out as Gonser is able to convert at the rim. Milford coming out very strong to open this game. Medfield answering back in the late minutes of the first quarter. Now we'll see who can seize momentum here early on in the second. And the ball loose at midcourt. Medfield comes away with it. And again, it's Gonser underneath the basket, and the foul is committed late. Zach Tomorrow with the foul. That's his first. Brendan White continues to sit on the bench, so that is certainly a factor that cannot be underplayed. Gonser at the line, he converts his first free throw. White with 6 early points, but then also 2 early fouls sent him to the bench. Gonser goes 2 for 2. Back down to a 4-point lead. The first 4 points of this period have belonged to the home team. Joey Everett checking into the game for the first time now as Cosquet releases the outside shot, counted from 3. That's Shane's first points of the half. Pushes Milford into a 21-14 lead. Medfield tries to answer back from the near corner, no good. Now Everett to Kelly, and back outside. Cosquet will try it again. Looked good out of the hands. Cosquet couldn't quite finish it. Here's Fraioli after the rebound and a couple of bounces. And the shot falls through for Fraioli, up to 6 points. But now again, quickly up the floor, Fraioli is able to get good positioning in the end, but John Lowell able to come through with the bucket. 23-16, so points coming in rapid fire succession now on both sides, and it looks like we will see a return to the floor of Brendan White as he approaches the scorer's table. That ball out of play. They'll award possession to Medfield. It looked like that was deflected on the way out by the Warriors, but the officials seeing it differently. It's once again a 3-man officiating crew here for this playoff game, just like we saw earlier in the week for the girls' side. White is now back out there. He replaces Zach Tomorrow. So it's Kelly, Fraioli, and Everett, along with Cosquet and White, as Everett, with some good on-ball defense, nearly jars that ball loose. Now from the free throw line, the shot no good. Everett now able to secure the rebound after the miss by Lowell. Now Everett harassed from behind. He loses control. And now the foul. It looks like instead they will award the timeout. So there's a timeout called for, stopping the clock with 5 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the half. We will take the timeout as well. 23-16, Milford leads Medfield here on Milford TV. After the timeout, Milford takes the ball up the floor. Now less than 5.5 minutes to play in the half. A quick passing into Caden Kelly, and despite 3 defenders in close proximity, Kelly able to get the bucket, his first of the game. Defense has tried to make life difficult on Kelly here in the first half. Now the shot offline from Graziano, but therefore the putback effort is Lowell. Seven-point lead for the Scarlet Hawks. That pass just barely making its way to Everett. Now across the way. Cosquet fakes the pass, takes the shot, no good. Kelly fights for that rebound. Now here's Fraioli. He cuts to the basket. He can't finish, gets his own rebound, and gets fouled. Andrew Fraioli somehow seems to be everywhere on the floor all at once. Taking the shots, grabbing the rebounds, getting back on defense so fast, so athletic. He's been such a difference maker on this team. It cannot be overstated. The Medfield fans trying to get loud again with Fraioli at the line. One more shot to go. 1 for 2 that time, 3 out of his first 4 from the line. Medfield with the ball, down by 8. Pull-up shot, no good for Williams. About to reach the midway point in the second quarter. Everett taking his time. Cosquet again takes a couple of dribbles inside the three-point line. 2 more for Cosquet. He has 5 points now in this second quarter. Now Everett again nearly forcing the turnover. Now active hands for Cosquet. And all the way to the basket, and way to fight through some tough defense for Stephen Williams. White outside for Cosquet, had plenty of time, passes up the shot this time. Now White will take it, and he nails his third three-pointer of this first half. Missing a lot of time with foul trouble, but the shot is still dead on for the junior Brendan White. Now the miss, another rebound for Kelly. And the hard pass pushed ahead to Fraioli is tipped out of play. Sent out by the Warriors. Quick substitution for Medfield, and now the ball back in play for the Scarlet Hawks. 4 fouls for Medfield, 3 for Milford here in the half. It's Kelly to Tomorrow. Tomorrow a little space, sends it off the back of the rim. And another foul going against the Warriors. I believe they called the foul against Michael Mary. Fresh shot clock for the Scarlet Hawks. As now the foul goes against Milford. They'll call it on Kelly. Cade Kelly quickly storms down the other end of the floor. Not at all pleased with the call. That's just Kelly's first foul of the game. And now Joey Everett commits a foul underneath the basket, so a couple of fouls in Very short period of time for the Scarlet Hawks, and that sends Mitchell Gonser to the line. Gonser listed at 6'2". He's a junior. Kelly will get a little breather as Fraioli comes back out onto the floor. One more shot to go. Four successful free throws in this period for Gonser, and now going for the steal. And the quick release from three-point range. Milford thought they had the clean block, but instead Joey Everett is called for his second foul, and Milford's starting to get frustrated here as the fouls have really mounted. Looked to be good defense for Everett, and so Milford right now trying to keep their composure. And Joey DeMarco trying to check in for Everett, but apparently did not fully reach the scorer's table as the first two free throws have been misses. Now DeMarco is able to come out on the floor. Everett to the bench. One more free throw to go. And Mary finally able to make the third. And now the Warriors nearly pull off another steal. Milford getting a little sloppy here in the late minutes of the first half. They have the 8-point lead, but wanting to finish out strong going into the break. And now the officials call timeout. They want to get together here. Unclear what the discussion is centered around. They will now head over to the scorer's table. As Coach Seaver continues to communicate with his players out on the floor. Two of the three officials there at the table. The third out on the floor. He gets the final communication, and it looks like the end result here gives Milford the possession, so Coach Seaver happy in the end with that discussion. Brendan White able to beat a double team. Now a nice feed for Fraioli, and a circus shot pulled off by Brendan White. Had a full head of steam towards the basket. That pass was a little bit of a change-up, but White able to adjust on the fly. And a chance to tack onto it at the free throw line. The first points from Brendan White that have not come from beyond the arc. So you can make it 12 first half points in limited minutes for Brendan White, who now goes right back to the bench with 2:05 left to play in this first half. Milford now with a double-digit lead, and the miss on the other end by Gonser. Milford trying to really make it hurt. Fraioli, a couple of chances. Nice block on the Medfield side. Fraioli able to clean up his own rebound, but then just could not finish. And now another foul on the floor. This will be the 7th for Milford of the first half, and now Medfield into the bonus. The foul going against Shane Cosquet, his first foul. Caden Kelly back onto the floor tomorrow on the bench. Brendan Saylor also back out there. Here's Saylor, kicks it back out. A lot of time for Cosquet. Passes up the shot. Kelly ends up taking it. Can't make it. Fraioli rebounds. Milford trying to spread out that Medfield defense. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. A little over 1 minute left in the half. Here's Saylor. He releases the shot. Count it. 5 points in the half for Saylor. The lead up to 12 for the Scarlet Hawks. As the shot doesn't land for Medfield. With 50 seconds to go, Medfield puts on the pressure. Milford able to beat it. Numbers up the floor. Cosquet from three. In and out. But the ball ricochets to DeMarco. Guides it back outside to Saylor. And now into the hands of Cosquet. As we're about to see the final 30 seconds of the first half play out. There's Kelly, three defenders pull in tight against Kelly. Able to send the pass back out. And after the miss, finally, Gonser able to put an end to an extended trip up the floor for the Scarlet Hawks. 10 seconds left to go. Medfield trying to give themselves something to go into the break with. 3 seconds to go, and count it for Michael Mary. And that will end up being the final shot of the half. Mary's first points from the floor in the half allow Medfield to cut the deficit back down to single digits. But all in all, Milford very pleased with the effort here on the road in the first half. They take a 37-28 lead into the break. And once again, a very widely dispersed offensive effort in the first half for Milford. Cosquet, White, Fraioli, Saylor, Kelly, and Tomorrow all collecting points in the half. And Milford leading all the way through these first 16 minutes, but still a lot of work left to do in this one. We will pause for the break, and we will be back with quarter number 3 in just a moment. A 37-28 lead for Milford over Medfield as we bring you coverage of the Division II Central MIAA playoffs right here on Milford TV. Once again, we welcome you inside the Medfield High School Gymnasium here on the road, bringing you coverage of the quarterfinal round of the Division II Central bracket of the MIAA playoffs. Milford with a 37-28 lead over the Medfield Warriors as the Scarlet Hawks open this third quarter action with the bucket, courtesy of the senior Andrew Fraioli. Fraioli with 7 points in the first half. It was Brendan White leading all scorers in that first half effort with 12 points as the runner to the basket lands for Jake Dubbs. He had 4 points in the first half effort for the Warriors as a very early timeout is called. Just 33 seconds into this second half action. So taking a deeper look at the scoring through the first half, it was Brendan White, as we mentioned, leading the Milford scoring attack with 12 points. Fraioli with 7, now and up that to 9 after the early bucket here in the third quarter. Zach Tomorrow had 6 points, courtesy of a couple of long-range shots. 5 points for Brendan Saylor, 5 for Cosquet, and 2 points for Caden Kelly. And on the other side, Mitchell Gonser and John Lowell pacing the Medfield attack with 8 points apiece. Jake Dubbs with 4. Michael Mary also with 4, and then Christian Higgins and Stephen Williams with 2 points apiece. Milford comes out of the timeout with possession. The Hawks back to their original starting 5 out there on the floor. Tomorrow pinned up against the sideline, able to get the pass away to Caden Kelly. Now into the hands of the point guard. We're down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. White surveys his options to the corner for Tomorrow. No good on the three-point attempt. White from behind trying to knock that ball away from Gonser, but he holds on. Now it's Dubbs. Dubbs thinking about a deep three. Now dribbles inside, gets cut off, sends it back out to Gonser, whose shot was very short. Medfield tracks down the rebound. Now Tomorrow with good defense. The ball swatted back into the general direction of John Lowell. So a bunch of opportunities on that trip up the floor for Medfield, but they go without the basket on that possession. Right back to Milford now. The lead still at 9. A 3 just before the buzzer for Medfield at the conclusion of the second quarter. Cut the deficit back down to single digits. A couple of times Milford had up the lead to around 12 points. Milford has shortened the bench here so far in this first playoff game. We've seen a lot of the starting 5. A couple of appearances from Brendan Saylor and Joey Everett, and a little bit of Joey DeMarco late in that half. Andrew Fraioli, all ball on that rejection. But Medfield, another chance under the basket. No luck again. Fraioli this time makes sure they do not have a third opportunity as Brendan White cuts all the way to the basket. And Brendan White has landed just about every shot he has taken so far in this game, now up to 14 points. As the ball gets tipped out of play, Milford up to 41 points on the night. So we talked about it coming in. This Medfield defense has struggled to contain opposing offenses, and they are struggling to contain this Milford attack so far. All the way up to 40 points with still 5 minutes and change to play in quarter number 3. A foul away from the ball going against Medfield, the first foul of this second half. It's the second foul committed by Mitchell Gonser. White lobs it in, trying to find Kelly, but didn't quite get enough on the pass. Intercepted by Gonser, and now the rejection for Kelly. The second chance effort for Dubs. And then as Milford pulls down the rebound, Medfield commits another foul. Breathing new life into this Milford crowd. The technical foul called against Gonser, as Tomorrow misses the first shot. And a couple of misses. Those technical foul shots always seem to be the trickiest ones. Tomorrow's first trip to the free throw line in this game. Milford now with the chance to inbound. Gonser on the bench now after getting the technical. Into the corner for White, takes the contested 3, and there's a rare miss for White. And now on the other end of the floor, aggressive play by Christian Higgins. Higgins ends up drawing the well, I believe they called it against Caden Kelly. Excuse me, they called it against Tomorrow. It's the second foul for Zach Tomorrow. Higgins missing the first free throw attempt. Net the second. 3 points in the game for Higgins. They've all come from the free throw line. Tipped pass, aimed for Kelly. Instead, numbers up the floor. And a couple of misses, and third time's a charm. It's Michael Mary who had the break. Milford able to get back in the end. So it's in fact Higgins back to the line. Milford with the 10-point lead for now and back down to single digits. Higgins goes right back to work from the stripe. Zach Tomorrow, after picking up an additional foul. That makes 3 now for tomorrow. He's forced to the bench. The lead at 9, 4.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Kelly briefly loses control into Fraioli. And Kelly, that time with the rebound and the putback. Kelly's been quiet in terms of points generated so far in this game. That's just his second bucket. 4 points now. Still strong work defensively and on the glass. Out of the corner. A few more rebounds now going Medfield's way. That one resulting in the three-pointer for Michael Mary. Nifty passing that time. Saylor into Fraioli, but they will call Andrew for the travel. The Milford fans hating the call. 3:34 to play. A 43-35 score as the three-pointer rims out for the Warriors. Saylor protects the ball. Now Kelly gets stripped. Fraioli ends up with it in his hands, and Fraioli finishes. 5 points in this third quarter now for Andrew Fraioli. Deep three, not quite enough on it for Mary. Pull up again short, this time by Stephen Williams. So just 2 points in the game for Williams. Mosquet feeds to the corner. Saylor takes a couple of steps, releases it back over to Mosquet. This stops the clock with 2 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the third quarter. Substitution for Medfield, Williams to the bench. Jake Dubs trying to go coast to coast, and they'll count the basket. That was too easy for Dubs, taking it the length of the floor. The seas parting as he went to the basket. Picking up the foul committed by Saylor. It's his first foul. Cut it down to a 7-point margin. Ball pops out. Kelly couldn't hang on before that one trickled out of play, so Medfield will retain possession. And now count it from 2-point range for Lowell. Down to a 2-possession game. At times it's felt like Milford has been ready to really pull away with this game. Medfield hanging around, now down by 6 with over 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. This is still a basketball game. Kelly gets hacked on the way up. As we've mentioned, Kelly has been receiving a lot of attention down low. At times, 3 defenders draped around him. Milford student section applauding the free throws. This student section taking up a good chunk of the Medfield bleachers. They have not sat all night long. Supported this team so well all season long. Continuing to do so here in the postseason. Making the trip down 109 to get here to Medfield. Got a 30-minute drive from Milford. As Dubs comes through with another. 6 points now in the period. We're back to a 6-point margin. Brendan White has been outstanding from three-point range tonight. 4 threes in the game, and that sends us into another timeout with 93 seconds to play in the third quarter. Now back up to a 9-point lead for Milford at 50-41 on this playoff coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Medfield with the ball, trailing by 9 points. Into the closing seconds of the third quarter. Dubs leaves the ball behind. White flies in, trying to make the steal. Medfield now underneath the basket. And it's John Lowell who gets fouled. He will go to the line as Caden Kelly is called for his second. Been a bit of a struggle from the free throw line for Medfield tonight. Still an 8-point Milford lead as Medfield puts the pressure on. Going for the steal was Dubs. He tips it out of play. And Medfield backs off into their half-court defense. There's Kelly battling through the defense. Can't find the rack, but there is Andrew Fraioli. Those two once again playing so effortlessly off one another. And the lead now at 10. Dubs trying to answer from 3, no good. Rebound ends up going right to Higgins. Higgins fakes the handoff and now releases an offline shot. It ends up getting deflected out of play, going off the hands of William Graziano. And just less than a second difference between shot clock and game clock as Milford pushes ahead. And it's Lowell this time going for the steal, who deflects out of play. It's about a 1/10 of a second difference between shot clock and game clock. For all intents and purposes, Milford can play for the final shot here. Cosquet. Now it's Kelly in some trouble. The steal, Cosquet gets it back, tries to bank it off the glass and gets it in, just beating the buzzer. And near disaster there for Milford with the turnover results in one final blow courtesy of Shane Cosquet. The quick release pushes Milford's lead up to 54-42. They take a 12-point lead now into the final period. Milford has led all the way so far here tonight. 8 minutes to go to propel Milford on to a semifinal berth. We'll have the start of that fourth quarter when we come back next here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Welcome back once again to Medfield High School into the fourth quarter here in this playoff matchup between the Scarlet Hawks and the Medfield Warriors. And to the basket goes Christian Higgins, and he gives the home crowd something to cheer about to open up this fourth quarter, cutting it back down to a 10-point lead and a chance to send it on down to single digits. Higgins 4 for 6 from the line so far tonight, and now he can make it 4 for 7 after that miss. Actually missed his last 3. (54-44). Fraioli right on the money. The pass to Kelly. Hasn't been the cleanest game around the rim for Caden Kelly. He's been a little bit off with his offensive output tonight, but again, continuing to find ways to contribute to the effort as he always does. toss into the corner off the inbounds pass from Medfield, but another miss from long range. There's White now, a little bit of a carry there, he got away with it. Take it now from the top of the key, battles inside. It's some kind of performance tonight. Fun to watch out of the junior. Milford up for the block. They get called for the foul. It's Fraioli. That's just the first foul of the night on Andrew Fraioli. Michael Mary back to the line, getting the business from the Milford student section. Misses both shots. Milford plucks down the rebound. Medfield not helping their cause at all from the free throw line. This Fraioli takes it inside. Misses the layup. Lead still 12 for Milford. Scarlet Hawks really using their size to their advantage. It's Kelly. Tried to send that no-look pass away, getting pinned against the sideline, ended up taking the foul. Called against John Lowell. Kelly just keeping that pass out of the hands of Jake Dubbs. So it's deflected out of play. A lot of active hands for Medfield. Scott taking his time before dishing to Kelly. Ticking down to 6 minutes to play. Zach Tomorrow back out on the floor. He has 3 fouls. Tomorrow releases the shot. They will wave it off as Milford is called for the foul. That foul going against Caden Kelly. It is his 4th foul. And now Jake Dubbs wanting the whistle, didn't get it. Now here's Cosquet on the other end, no good. Caden Kelly tries to put it back. And now they will call the foul against the Scarlet Hawks. And again, it's Kelly, and you can see now the frustration pouring out of the usually mild-mannered Caden Kelly. And he now takes a seat on the bench and getting some support from his teammates. He is about as frustrated as we have ever seen him in his varsity tenure. Free throws now for Jake Dubbs. Timeout taken on the floor with exactly 5.5 minutes to go. 56-46, it's a 10-point Milford lead here on our coverage of Milford High School athletics in the MIAA playoffs here on Milford TV. Brendan White looking to get the ball back in play. Immediately Cosquet trapped in the corner, gets around it. Now here's Fraioli, takes his time, trying to bank it off the glass, no good. And to the sideline, the ball will stay with Milford. Saylor takes it back outside with the fresh shot clock. As we come down to the final 5 minutes. Here's Cosquet right through the middle. Goes up with the right hand and gets his first bucket here in the 4th quarter. Up to 9 points now in the game. Here's Dubbs now trying to answer. He can't get the elevation. Cosquet tries to save it from going out of play. It deflects into the hands of Medfield's Christian Higgins, but can't do anything with it. Milford now flying back up the other way. The ball ends up out of play again. It stays with the Scarlet Hawks. Rapid fire tempo. Milford playing with a smaller lineup out there right now, with the exception of Andrew Fraioli. With Kelly on the bench, we haven't seen much of Joey Everett in this second half. Everett picking up a couple of fouls back in the first half. Saylor can't convert at the rim. Now 4:22 left to play. Saylor creates the steal, has one man to beat up the floor, and ends up getting the foul. Saylor sitting on 5 points in this game. Goes 1 for 2. .13 lead with 4:18 to go. Time running out on the comeback bid for the Warriors. Saylor, after knocking down that second free throw, taking a seat on the bench, as that one's good from 3 for Michael Mary. It's his third three-pointer of the game. Joey Everett back out on the floor. Dangerous pass to Brendan White. He can't handle it. Now, again, they'll release from 3 for Medfield. No good. Dubs with the rebound, kicks it out. And now Cosquet trying for the steal. And he ends up committing the foul. There have been some periods of time in this game where Milford has played a little bit out of control. Seems to be another one of those times. Joey Everett with just a very brief cameo on the floor, right back to the bench as Saylor returns. Stephen Williams making both of his shots. And so from a 13-point lead, now down to 8. So not over yet, still 3.5 minutes to go. Here's Saylor, no good. Fraioli, big rebound for Andrew Fraioli. 9 points now in the second half, and immediately the answer on the Medway side. Lowell with the bucket. The timeout called for, stopping the clock with 3 minutes and 21 seconds to go. This one not quite decided yet. It's an 8-point Scarlet Hawks lead with 3 minutes and 21 seconds to go. Again, stay with us here on our coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. Ball sails back in play as the clock resumes. Andrew Fraioli cuts ahead of the defense. Adds to his very strong offensive night. Bumps it back up to a 10-point lead. Now Saylor pestering defensively. The ball loose on the floor. The possession goes to Milford. The heads-up timeout called for on the sideline, so it will be Milford ball with 3:02 to play. Back into the timeout. Milford trying to grab a victory in the postseason for the second consecutive season. You think back to last year, Milford opening up with a first-round playoff matchup over at Marlboro High School. We all remember how exciting that game turned out, a game that Milford trailed by double digits into the fourth quarter, but a resilient fourth quarter comeback ended up in an overtime victory for the Scarlet Hawks, a 78-73 victory over the Marlboro Panthers. And why is that significant, you ask? Well, in the other quarterfinal game on Milford's side of the bracket, it is the number 9 seeded Medway Mustangs playing at Marlboro High School against the number 1 seeded the Marlboro Panthers. So the winner of this game will go on to play the winner of that game. So the opportunity does exist for Milford to play Marlboro in the playoffs for a second consecutive season, this time in the semifinals. As the ball is loose on the floor, back out of the timeout, it's Zach Tomorrow in a scrum. Locked up for the jump ball. Possession arrow going Milford's way. The officials going over to confer at the scorer's table. The possession arrow clearly indicating that was Milford's ball. That Marlboro Medway game going on as we speak. Should time permit, we'll see if we can get an update on the status of that game. But not much time left here in the Medfield gym. Milford up by 10. Saylor taking care of the basketball, sending it back outside for Tomorrow. That one in and out. Medfield playing now with a real sense of urgency. Just 2:22 to play. The release from 3 short and tipped in after the miss by Jake Dubbs. He's been strong here in the second half. Now it's White. White can't convert. Now into the final 2 minutes of this quarterfinal game. 63-55 in favor of Milford. Shot offline by the Mustangs. And the foul called for, stopping the clock with 1:52 to go. Cosquet getting away from his defender. We'll bring an update from that Marlboro Medway game in just a moment. Tomorrow trying to battle through a double team, gets the ball to Saylor. Saylor deflects it out to Cosquet. As we come down to the final 90 seconds, the pass floated into Fraioli, and Fraioli finishes once again to reestablish the 10-point Milford lead. Now Jake Dubbs halfway down on that three-pointer. It rims out, and Dubbs can only walk away in disgust. So the last update from the Marlboro Fieldhouse had the Panthers in front of the Medway Mustangs by a score of 47-30. That was at the end of the third quarter. So if Marlboro does indeed hold on to that lead, and barring a major comeback effort here for the Warriors in the final minute and 15 seconds, we might indeed see a rematch of Milford versus Marlboro in the semifinals. Shane Cosquet keeping the pressure on, knocking down both free throws. It's his first trip to the line of the night. 67 points now for the Scarlet Hawks. All Medfield can do is try to knock down some outside shots to give them a chance. They're able to do just that after the initial miss. It's Stephen Williams who rattles it through from three-point range, so that cuts it down to a 9-point lead with 59.3 seconds to go and sends us into another timeout. We will take the timeout as well. We will be back with the conclusion of this Division II Central quarterfinal matchup. A 67-58 lead for the Scarlet Hawks. They'll look to close this one out when we come back next here on Milford TV. Milford with the ball back in their hands, 56 seconds left to go. Trying to put the finishing touches on an excellent road effort as Saylor ends up stepping out of bounds. And you can see Coach Paul Seaver screaming from the sideline, no fouls. Wanting to see his team play a clean defensive effort here right down to the end. And good protection underneath the basket. Here's White coming away with the ball. Sailor ahead to Fraioli. Now it's Cosquet, fakes the shot, pulls it back, and now Zach Tamaro absorbs the foul. And these Milford fans now sensing the inevitable. Opportunity now for Zach Tamaro to push the lead back into double digits. Instead, the free throw miss. The ball kicked by Milford. Zach Tamaro knocking down 2 early threes back in the first quarter, but he's been held scoreless since then. And has gone 0 for 3 at the free throw line. There's Dubs now guarded by Cosquet. Just 22 seconds left to go. To the basket. Couple of rolls around. Jake Dubs has certainly been a bright spot in the second half for Medfield. 10 points in the second half for Dubs. Milford fans feeling confident with 15.1 seconds to go. Joey Everett to the free throw line. And another free throw miss, so Milford not doing themselves any favors here in the final minutes, or final seconds, I should say. .9 seconds to go as we see some substitutions here on the Medfield side. Looks like they'll take their starters out here for the final seconds. No more fouls as Milford will dribble out the final seconds of this clock coming in to the Medfield Gymnasium, and they will lead this one wire to wire, coming away with a 67-60 victory here tonight. Milford racing out to a 9-0 lead in the early seconds of the first quarter, and they never looked back from there. They eliminate Medfield here in the quarterfinal round, and Milford punches their ticket to the semifinals, where they will face either the 9 seed or the 1 seed. And when last we checked, it was a decent-sized lead for the Marlboro Panthers, so we might be looking at a rematch of last season's outstanding playoff matchup between Milford and Marlboro. We will find out the results of that game a little bit later on. Stay close to social media for all the updates. That game expected to be played at a neutral site coming up next Tuesday. Right now scheduled for March the 6th, the 7:45 tip-off at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. We will go neutral site for the remaining games here in the Division II Central bracket. A victory for the girls in the first round of their playoffs earlier this week, and now a win for the Milford boys here in the Medfield Gym. An excellent night here tonight for the Scarlet Hawks, and an excellent job done by our Milford TV crew, our director Rob O'Keefe, and our camera operator Mike Sperling. And I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, 67-60. Milford defeats the Medfield Warriors. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.